Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs win. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Great, excited to be back in the league.
You know, every day I got the Three Stooges in the studio with me is a good fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So let's make sure he gets that bag.
Frauds! Woo!
Justin's way ahead in picks. That's all that you need to fucking know.
Show's ruined.
Show's over. We're going home.
I would like to welcome you back to another page of the Playbook Sports Podcast.
Let's go ahead and just slide into 16 through 20, brother. What you got for us?
Yeah, 16, I have the Commanders taking Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from Tennessee. They lost Charles Leno in the offseason. So, you know, he's going to protect Howell's blindside, which is kind of a joke. But I also think they probably would have went Porter Jr. if he was there as well. I know they do need some cornerback help. So that's kind of why I thought the Steelers may have to move up to get the guy that they want. But I've been taking a tackle, just kind of shoring up the O-line. I think the Commanders are an interesting situation right now, especially with changing of ownership and things like that. They are not great. So, and then at 17, I have the Patriots selecting Cam Smith, cornerback from South Carolina. I think it is one of their biggest needs that they have. He has really good instincts, 6'1". He had a really, really good sophomore year, had some injuries along the way. So, but with the Patriots, they could take a 5th round projected guy and just, you know, close range. I don't know. So that was kind of a tough one for me, but I think that Cam Smith comes in and fills an immediate need for them at cornerback. At pick 18, I have the Lions selecting Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. You know, Swift has had a ton of injuries, and I think that he's the best player available at this spot. Having him behind the Lions O-line, I think, would just be absolutely absurd. You give Jared Goff some help. They're on the right path, and I think getting possibly the best offensive player in this draft at 18 is too good of a steal for them not to pass up on. However, could see them, I think right now their starting tight end is Brock Wright. So like I could see them taking a tight end here, but just in my mind, at the end of the day, you go get one of the best running backs. Swift's probably on a contract year. If not, he's very close. A lot of injury concerns. So in my opinion, that's just a home run pick running behind that Lions O-line. So
This is Swift's contract year.
It is. Okay. Yep, exactly. And then 19, I have the Buccaneers selecting Branch, safety out of Bama. I think he's just the best safety in the draft. I think the Bucs are in an interesting spot. I think they have a ton of needs, so wouldn't be shocked if they try to trade back. But they also really have a big need at safety, and I think he's just hands down the best safety in this draft.
Yep.
Pick 20, I have the Seahawks going back to the defensive side of the ball and selecting Brian Brees, defensive lineman out of Clemson. Just really sure up that D-line. You have him and Tyree Wilson coming off that D-line. Now you have one. You have Kobe Bryant in the back end. Like, you just have a very, very good defense. They're building back up that Legion of Boom, having just some really solid defensive line help, which they desperately need. So, but yeah, I think for them, that just makes the most sense. You build a great defense. You have Kenneth Walker coming back. You see what Geno's got. You have weapons that wide out. So, I think that pick just made a lot of sense, as they really need interior defensive line along with some edge pressure. So
Yeah, definitely. I think I love it. I think the Patriots are in shambles when Darnell Wright goes at 16. I think they are absolutely devastated that he didn't fall to 17, because that's probably their master plan if they're trading down.
Yeah.
But Washington needs a tackle, man, and Darnell Wright could be the best tackle of the bunch. Like, these top 4 tackles in this draft class are all 1A through D, you know, like they're all that good. So I love Darnell Wright there. And then, you know, a nice consolation prize for the Patriots and Cam Smith. Cam Smith is a very, very good corner, probably consensus 4th or 5th best corner in the class. And New England is losing corners. Like, their defense is so bad. Their defense is just losing people. They've got Matthew Judon, and then who? You know, their defense is falling apart. So just start rebuilding the defense. They definitely need to do that. Detroit with Bijan Robinson. I love that pick. Have fun with, man, Detroit with a great draft, and Devin Witherspoon and Bijan Robinson. Woo! Best corner.
And you add that to Jameson Williams coming back, Amon-Ra. I mean, like I said, I think that makes the most sense for how they like to play football, especially Jamal Williams. Like, just having 2 running backs, being able to really let Bijan Robinson be your number one. You know, Swift on a contract, you just say see you later. But I'm saying him and Will Anderson, in my opinion, are the 2 people that could be Hall of Famers out of this draft. One on the offensive and one on the defensive. I guess if you had to put a gun to my head, those are the 2 that I would select. So, obviously not saying Barry Sanders, but hey, you get your long-term running back answer right there. And they love running the damn ball. So
Yeah, and that offensive line is just a bunch of people movers, man. Like they've got an insane offensive line. Just put in behind them and watch them go. And they did bring in Montgomery and they have Swift. Like that's such a good running back room. Swift will walk. Swift has injury issues. Montgomery has never really been that bell cow back. Bijan Robinson is that bell cow back. He's this year's Saquon Barkley, you know, Zeke Elliott coming out. Like he's a great pick. And if his legs are gone in 5 years, whatever, you're going to get 5 great years from this guy where he is the best running back in football.
And I mean, best case is you start Swift out all year. You just pound this guy on a contract year. You just use him a lot. And if Swift stays healthy, great. Obviously, you're using Robinson as well.
Right.
But the farther you go, the better the team goes, the more Robinson gets involved. But man, we can use Swift to save his legs and then we can get rid of the guy. I mean, it's ruthless, but it's also genius. So
that's how it is.
Right.
Yeah. Brian Branch is a great pick for Tampa Bay. They need help all over the field. They're going to be back.
Yeah.
All over the place. Yeah. Brian Branch is a super versatile defensive player. I mean, he's the chess piece on the defensive captain. Yeah. They may be losing their middle linebacker if Devin White gets a trade. I know he is requesting a ton of money, like $20 million a year. So if they trade him, you know, they may have more picks. They may want a linebacker, but Brian Branch does it all. Nickel corner, safety. He's just a defensive captain, and he comes from a great defensive school in Alabama. That's just a great pick. Someone who could go way earlier, but positional value drops him down the board. Talent-wise, it's there. And then Brian Brzee at 20 to Seattle, man. Look out for that defensive line now with him and Tyree Wilson coming at you. That's tough. Their offense was already good. Defense needed some help, and you just got it. You just got some defensive help now to go with the first-round pick or the Tariq Woolen last year and their other picks last year. Like last year, they focused on offense in the draft. This year, they're hammering the defense, and I love that for them. Great picks. So what thoughts you got?
Yeah, I love those as well. Cam Smith, you brought up the injuries. It's funny because Jackson Smith-Njigba had 5 catches last year, you know, played in 3 games. I mean, just barely getting a little bit of reps. It just doesn't matter as much anymore now in college, you know, especially for guys that know they're going to the league.
Yeah.
And college knows it as well. So there's no, hey, we're not rushing you. We just want you to get healthy. It's all right if things don't look great because, hey, this isn't your final destination for your collegiate career. Yeah. And I love Cam Smith right there. It does suck, Nate, like you said. No tackle for the Patriots. Doesn't suck for you, though, man, because
I love it.
Just leave Mac Jones if he's out there pissed off to the Wolves, baby.
Yep.
That's what they'll probably do, man, just to get him out of there. Commanders, like you said, they're just in such a weird spot. That'll be Bieniemy's team next year, and I'm sure he's going to appreciate a good left tackle for his quarterback, especially Caleb Williams. That's how we'll see how they go. But definitely love that. Man, Tampa Bay, interesting as well. Like you said, Brian Branch, I love him. I'm high on him. I don't care about the iffy combine, whatever. I think he's going to be an elite player when he's on the field. He plays well, and that matters. Miles Murphy falling a little bit interesting, but I mean, at the same time, though, when we're looking at all these picks, they all are hitting and somebody's got to be the guy that falls a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like that, though. I'm loving all those picks in the Seattle. It's just like, oh, well, we just drafted one DN, you know, with Wilson earlier to come back with Breeze on the defensive line. I did it last year with some offensive linemen.
Yep.
This year with defensive rookie linemen and have them ball. And that just helps a team that, again, was in the playoffs, just getting better.
Yeah.
You would say,
and in my mind,
one of these guys just won. And because of a good trade,
And I think, too, with the Patriots, I guess my hope for them with good tackles going before them is they can come back in the second round and maybe get, you know, one of the second tier guys. But like I said, I think, just with how it shakes out, I had them kind of getting screwed over on the tackles. So, and then just taking like another position of need for them. But and like you said, with the Montgomery thing as well, I think Robinson, like they don't care about having too many mouths to feed at the running back position. They showed that last year. Like I had Jamal Williams in fantasy, and I think he was one of the top 5 players going into like week 10 just because he scored that many touchdowns. So they like having that versatility, like having a lot of different options. And I think, you know, if you add Robinson into that offense, in my mind, it is just a little bit terrifying. So,
yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I love those, brother. Let's go ahead, give us pick 21, baby. Woo!
Yeah, the Miami Dolphin. Oh, sorry about
so that nobody.
Sorry. Yeah.
So no,
I love it. At 21, I have the Chargers taking Jordan Addison, wide receiver, UFC. Think they really need weapons. Could also see him going tight end here as well, just adding to it because I don't know if Parham is really the guy there. But yeah, I think that's just a need pick. Keenan Allen's getting older. You did pay Williams a ton of money, so but have them selecting just any weapon. But I have Jordan Addison going there. I think he's too good of a player to fall out of the top 20 as well, or 21, I guess. And then 22, I have the Ravens selecting Miles Murphy, Clemson edge. That's where the slide stops. He's really great stride. He's really consistent as far as production goes. You lost Calais Campbell, who I guess kind of a D lineman in general, could play interior as well. But I think the Ravens just adding to that defense. Pick 23, have the Vikings selecting Ringo, cornerback out of Georgia. He's 6'2", ran a 4.36, absolute freak. They lost 3 corners this year. So I think that really does fill a need for them. They definitely need to get better on the defensive side of the ball. And then pick 24, have the Jags selecting Deonte Banks, Maryland corner. He's very elite athletically, 4.35 guy, 42-inch vert, just an absolute freak of nature. Played as a freshman. He was hurt his sophomore year as well, but just too good of a prospect to get past them as well. They really need to add some cornerback depth. And then at pick 25, I have the Giants selecting Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver from Tennessee. You need to get another weapon for Danny Dimes. He was also 5th nationally last year in receiving yards and 2nd in the FBS in receptions, or receiving touchdowns. So I just think he has the numbers to prove it. He's a deep bomb threat. Just he gets it done. So I know there are other wideouts that could be taken there, but I think just his skills really complement what the Giants are looking to do on the offensive side of the ball with the weapons that they already have. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with those picks, man. Jordan Addison to the Chargers is scary. I think they may be hoping Bijan falls to them at 21 because Eckler wants out. But this is a great consolation prize. Jordan Addison is a younger version of Keenan Allen, in my opinion. Great route runner. Is he going to burn you? No, he's not going to outrun you. Right. But, man, he's going to get open. He's going to find a way to get open. And maybe some people aren't high on this receiver class, and I get that. But, man, Jordan Addison is a stud. And I love that pick. Miles Murphy to Baltimore. That is such a Baltimore pick. It's insane. They're like, oh, we just got Odell Beckham. We don't need a wide receiver. Let's get another defensive player who is making a huge fall. I mean, Miles Murphy could go anywhere in this first round, it seems like. And getting him at 22 is such a win for them. Just continue to get younger. Him and David Ojabo coming back from injury this season. That's a great 1-2 punch edge rusher, man. That defense just stays elite, and they'll figure out offense maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. And he was one of the people that I did have sliding, and it was definitely like, when's he, you know what I mean? When's he going to go? When's he going to go? And I think the Ravens stop that avalanche and just say best defensive player available. We just got to take him. So, I think he's too good to pass up there. And like you said, they would just really cement their edge presence for a few years to come. So
absolutely. Keely Ringo at 23. I'm interested to hear your thought process on that one. I know Keely Ringo is a super athlete. A lot of people have him falling down to like the end of the first round. So this is about that range. Did you consider Hendon Hooker here or a QB from Minnesota, or not quite? Were you more defense needy?
I did. The only thing is I think that the Vikings are in a really unique spot. And in my opinion, I think with the team that they have now, they try it for one more year. And, Hendon Hooker, I think could be a good pick here. It's just with the injury concerns and things like that, like just with him coming off of an injury. Because in my opinion, Hendon Hooker he's pretty darn old as well. But besides those two things, I think Hendon Hooker actually could have been like a top 10 pick if he was, say, 21, 22 and didn't have a huge injury coming off of it.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a need, though, as they lost 3 corners. Like, I hate to say it, you can't trot me out there to play cornerback. And you know what I mean? Like,
they could.
So they could. It just might not go too well. I mean, but so, yeah, I think that's the biggest need pick that I have here. But I just don't think that they can really supplement the cornerback issues that they have in the current free agents. They haven't made a ton of moves. And I think, if they got rid of Dalvin Cook or something like that, I could see them rebuilding. But they just haven't done anything to show me that they're in a full rebuild mode. And I also think this is a common theme. Next year with the quarterbacks that are coming out, I think that a lot of teams will say, we'll hold off on this year. We won't take as big of a risk. We'll try it. You know what I mean? Just try to get best player available or biggest need at this point. And then next year with all the QBs that are coming out, we really try to hit a home run there. So it's a pick where I very well could see the Vikings being the worst team in the NFC North this year and just blowing it up at the end of the year, coming back and trying to get one of these top prospects as well. Like, I think there are a lot of QB needy teams, but I just didn't see them doing it this year with this pick, especially with the current holes that they had. So,
And when you mentioned the injury, like who knows how much of the season he'll miss? Why would you use your
Right.
first round pick on him when you have a team
Right.
that just won the division? Yes, they lost in the playoffs, but you still have Justin Jefferson on that side of the ball, Kirk Cousins, and there are rumors that they're trying to get rid of Dalvin Cook. Would love him in Miami, by the way. But I really do like Keely Ringo. I think he's going to be really good in the league. I think he had kind of a down season, but coming into this season, he was a consensus top 10 pick, like the best corner in the class coming into the season. So I don't mind that pick at all. And I think Jacksonville is happy they get Deonte Banks, who is big, strong, freak athlete. He was the number 1 rated athlete at the combine at cornerback position, got a 98 out of 100 on his athleticism score, can do it all, runs a 4.35. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, great size, great boundary corner for Jacksonville, which they desperately need because they can score points, but can they stop everyone? Who knows?
right.
And then Jalen Hyatt at 25. I really like that pick. They need a wide receiver badly. Some people will say Zay Flowers maybe,
Yeah.
but I think Jalen Hyatt's that home run hitter. He's a home run hitter for sure. And man, if he gets open, look out, dude, because if Daniel Jones can get him the ball, he's gone. That boy is
And I think the
fast.
touchdown production was really what sold me on Jalen Hyatt. Zay Flowers is obviously great, but also in my mind, a 5'9", like Zay Flowers isn't the biggest guy. I think he
No.
is more of a slot weapon gadgety guy. Second in the FBS and that's another thing. Like Hendon Hooker and him had a great connection. So I think that they attack weapons as much as they can in this entire draft. The Giants, especially with the losses that they've had, but I mean, they did gain Waller. So I guess, but they just don't have any wideouts right now. So I think they go wide out there. It's just kind of a pick your poison, but just with the numbers that he had, and like you said, he just figures out a way to get open and get in the end zone. So and I think obviously once again, got to score points in the league. So
I mean, I love those. And when you bring up Hooker to the Vikings, I think it's an interesting spot for them to look at him. I think a pass
It
on
is.
Hooker is a good decision as well,
Mhm.
because you look at his age. I think that it plays a factor. Do the Vikings think they can potentially blow it up and retool it quick enough to where this guy's got support around him to compete? Because you don't have 3 years like you do with Justin Fields to hope, okay, third year is taking a leap. Well, he's going to be 28 in his third season. So I get it for Minnesota to pass, because is it a situation where right now we can make the moves and we're going to get rid of, we're losing pieces that Kirk had.
right.
So, hey, go win. I like that.
And hopefully they can come back later and get like a Stenson Bennett. I know he's got a lot of questions, but even if you get someone to just come in and compete as a backup that you can hopefully develop a little bit down the road, that'd kind of be my thought process with the Vikings. And I mean, it's bad to say this, but if they make the playoffs this year with Kirk Cousins and look like a really good team, like, and you drafted Hendon Hooker, it'd kind of be the same situation with the Packers when they got Jordan Love. Like, why would you not want to help your team succeed now, especially if you're in a way built to win now? Obviously, like lost Adam Thielen and things like that. But in my opinion, they're just, even if they get a QB for the next 10, 5 years, I guess he's pretty old. So, but
10 years,
no.
man. And then it's just, do they compete, get it quick enough back retooled to fight for him? I don't know about that. And like you said, Nate, with Jacksonville, I love Deonte Banks. It's just a secondary piece that they can add. I mean, when you're going up against teams like Kansas City and they fall just short, you don't want to say, oh man, like if we added just one piece, things would be different. But adding a piece of secondary is huge. Nate, you already touched on it. Miles Murphy is a monster Baltimore pick. Would love that. Like you said, Bob Fall's got to stop eventually. And that you just add to the defense. And like you said, it's just such a Ravens pick to go, oh, let's just keep retooling this defense. Had a young stud that could go high in the draft, but also could fall, just because where does the DN run start? And if it doesn't start really enough and people start falling and other places start going, that's just how it goes in the NFL draft. And I love Hyatt to New York, Bob. I think I had him in my mock going there as well. I just, the home run, like you said, Nate, he is the home run hitter, the deep ball play, big play guy. He did it at Tennessee. Hopefully can do it for New York as well. Like you said, I love the addition of Waller, but I'm loving these picks, man. Loving this mock.
Yeah, same. Bob, go ahead and bring us home, buddy. What you got? 26 to 31.
So this is a pick Steve is going to absolutely love. I have the Cowboys selecting Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle out of Pitt. Aaron Donald 2.0 just because he comes from Pitt, but he had a really, really, really good combine, really good pro day, just an athletic freak, very explosive. So, and they really need interior D line help. Pick 27, I have the Bills selecting Zay Flowers from Boston College. In my mind, it's a smart pick because he is 5'9", can fill that slot role that you need. You have Diggs, him, Gabe Davis. I think that's extremely scary. And why not just add more weapons if you can, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I know they probably have some defensive needs, but I think just with him going to pick 27, it's kind of one of those things like just add fire to the flame, baby, and let's just get that offense rolling even more. So, and then try to supplement defense on the back end of things. Pick 28, have the Bengals selecting Lucas Van Ness, edge from Iowa. I personally am not huge on him. I know at Iowa he's not the starter, but he did play a good amount and obviously had a really good combine and things like that. But Iowa just plays their seniors. So to me, it is a little bit scary of a pick there, but just adding some edge, to the Bengals, you can never have enough edge pieces as well. At pick 29, I actually have a trade. I have the Texans hopping up to 29 to select Hendon Hooker. Ooh. I think that's where the slide stops. And I think that you do try to run the wheels on him after you've had that good of a draft to have the wide out, to have the edge piece. You say, you know what, we'll take a risk. I know he's older, but like I said, if he did not have an injury and if he was 22 or 23 years old, I do think he's a top 10 pick in this draft. I think he may be the best combination of a dual threat quarterback that you had coming out of this draft. He put Tennessee on the map, played well in big games, very accurate passer as well. And I think that I think the Saints are a terrible team, and I think they just need to add as many pieces as they can. So, I think them getting one pick at 29 isn't good enough for them, whereas the Texans can move up a few picks to take a QB. And you know what? If he isn't the answer, that's okay too. I think that you can still have a pick next year. I think you don't even need to give up your number one, your first pick next year. You can supplement it with some back end picks. See him and Davis Mills, like I said, really have a good quarterback competition. See who rises to the top, and hopefully you surround him with enough talent with these the first couple of picks in the draft to see where he goes. And then at 30, this is another scary, scary pick. Another guy who I had falling. I have the Eagles selecting Nolan Smith, edge from Georgia. I literally think the Eagles are building Georgia's defense.
They are.
Just add another edge piece, really get another guy that can come off the edge, has a lot of sack production, just an athletic freak. Build up that defense the right way. Could also see maybe an interior lineman, the kid out of Florida I could see as well. But I just think with him being there, that's a pick where you're like, let's just add another Georgia defensive player who's an absolute freak show. And then probably the hardest pick that I had in the draft was the Chiefs, to be honest, as well. This and the Titans really gave me fits. So I had them selecting Anton Harrison, tackle from Oklahoma. Just get another pick. But I will say, and here I really had three guys here. I know Quentin Johnston's another name that I had falling, but at the end of the day, I think he's more of a Marquez Valdez-Scantling, run straight, run fast, not a great route runner. A name that I would watch out for, though, is Tyler Scott from Cincinnati. He's 5'10". He was a national level sprinter. He had 10 touchdowns of 30-plus yards, and I think he could be like a Tyreek Hill guy for them if they want to add another weapon on offense. So, but I had them taking Anton Harrison. Like I said, just getting some O-line help. But I was really, really wanting to pull the trigger on Tyler Scott. He's not really a first-round talent, but could be, like I said, that Tyreek Hill, that gadget guy that the Chiefs always love having on their team. So that's just another name to watch out for.
Yeah. That's a great pick. I think Chiefs need an offensive lineman. They lost both their tackles, brought in Juwan Taylor. What side is he going to play? Is he going to play left, right tackle? I don't know. But Anton Harrison slots in there, starts day one for them. Yeah. Love that pick. Cal Cansey to Detroit, man, he's a freak athlete. If he's even a fraction of Aaron Donald, I mean, that's a huge win for them, especially at
right.
I like Zay Flowers to Buffalo, unfortunately, because he could be explosive for them. Super fast, super talented wide receiver. That's a great pick for them. They need it. They let Isaiah McKenzie walk. Great pick, or they traded him however he left. Van Ness at 28, that's crazy good value for them because he can play anywhere on that defensive line, man. You just plug and play. Guy's going to be a beast. Nolan Smith to 30 at Philadelphia. What a draft from them, man. Just getting a guy who some people have as a top 15 prospect just because of how
Exactly,
freakish
yeah.
he was at his combine.
Yeah.
Does he have the production? Not necessarily, but that's because he was like on one of the best defenses in college football. Like everyone's eating on that defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And him falling to 30 for Philly is just terrifying. Yeah, love that. Love the set of picks. Those are all great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dallas, that's just, I love the pick right there. Kansas, absolutely insane combine. And I mean, if he even is somewhat of Aaron Donald, that's a home run. And if he can be elite, that's absolutely wicked.
Yeah.
Just in the back half. Love the addition for some line from Mahomes. You can't get enough. And an athletic lineman in
Right.
Harrison. And like you said, Jawan Taylor, both of them could probably play both sides, really.
Yeah.
So I love that right there. And Buffalo, terrifying right there with Zay Flowers. Sorry, Nate. They just add another piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. They're going to be good. It is who they, they'll be good enough to win the division and maybe win a playoff game, and that'll be that.
That'll be
We'll
it.
hang
Yeah.
another banner for them as preseason favorites.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I love the Bengals addition on the DN. You got quarterbacks to chase, man. Can't have enough pressure up on,
Yeah.
especially in the AFC, man. Who you're going up against, and just another piece you can throw at them. Absolutely love the first round. Quentin Johnston falling out. But
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
as much as he's a great big size, but man, when you really do run deep and straight, there's guys that can
Yeah.
do that. Do the teams value that as a first round pick?
Yep.
Yeah, he reminds me of MVS a lot and I don't really know why, but that's just like who I think of when I think of him as a player. And then one thing too on the Anton Harrison, he had one pressure in 447 snaps at Oklahoma.
Stud.
Could have went really high, but I think with him being there too, it's like just seems like the Chiefs always just have great picks as well. And it's like one of those things, you get a guy that's going to protect Mahomes regardless of what side he plays on and just be an absolute
Agreed.
stud for him. So
Agreed. I hate to cut you off. I have to run. I got to get upstairs. Rebecca's got to get out of here. Bobby, hell of a mock draft, my friend. Strong work. I wish we could talk more about it, but we're just up against the clock here. So I've got to bounce. If you guys want to stay in chat, go for it. Addison, just let me know when the recording's ready, my friend. But everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. We will have one more big mock draft where all of us where we do the war room. All of us are making a pick for a team and just going back and forth. Super excited for that one. Super excited for the draft. 11 days. Can't
Love
wait,
it.
man.
Can't wait.
But
baby.
appreciate
Tick,
you
tick,
guys.
tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, hey, it's coming. We're almost on the
Yeah.
clock. But appreciate everyone for stopping by, and we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.
Hey.
Peace.